Yes, sir. You may start the session, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, hi, hello everyone. Yesterday we had completed our chapter of differentiation, and now using the differentiation, there were earlier many questions left related to chain rule of L'Hopital's rule. Since we were not able to do those earlier, so we will be having a look at them today. Okay, fine. So let us start with the basic question. So it's been limit y tends to 0. Okay, so it is asking me what is the value of this thing. Okay, so obviously my final answer will be a function of x. Okay, it will be in terms of x because y has been assigned a value 0. So x will still be left and I'll get my answer in terms of x. So it is asking me what would be the value of this thing. Fine. So if you just see it, can you tell me which form is this? Which form of limit is this? Can you just substitute your value of y is equal to 0 and tell me which form is this? Which form of limit is this? Just substitute your value y as 0. So it will be x secant x minus x secant x divided by 0. So it is 0 by 0, right?
0 by 0, sir.
0 by 0 form. So if it is 0 by 0 form, I have two methods. So obviously I will go for L'Hopital's rule, right? So let us go for L'Hopital's rule first. Then I'll tell you. Fine. So if I go for L'Hopital's rule, I want to divide. I want to differentiate my numerator and denominator with respect to which variable? Can you tell me what will be my variable with respect to which I will be differentiating my numerator and my denominator? Can you tell me?
Sir, with respect to x,
With respect to x, is my variable x that I am substituting in this equation?
no, sir,
Is my
y.
variable x? It will be y, right? So I will differentiate it with respect to y, right? Okay. So if I want to do that, right? If I want to do that, okay. So if I go about doing that, so if I differentiate my denominator with respect to dy, it will be 1, right? Because denominator is 1. What about my numerator? Can you tell me? How will I differentiate my numerator with respect to y? I want to differentiate it with respect to y. How will I do it? See, you have got this thing x plus y into secant of x plus y. Okay. So you need to differentiate x plus y into secant of x plus y. How will you differentiate this thing with respect to y? So you will apply product rule, right? Product of two functions.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, great. So first, differentiate the first function. What will be the derivative of the first function with respect to y? Can you tell me? What will be the differentiation of the first function with respect to y? What is the derivative of x plus y with respect to y? What will it be? Tell me. What should it be like? D by dy of x plus y. What should it be according to you? Should it be 1 plus dx by dy? Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
It should be like this. Okay. So now this is where the trick part of the question comes into the picture. This thing is wrong. It will be only 1. And I'll tell you why. See, just listen to what I'm saying. Earlier, what used to happen is when we used to have an implicit function. Okay. When we used to have an implicit function, so what happened was that you were given an equation. Okay. Equation that had both x and y terms. Okay. On one side. So it basically had a relation between x and y. Okay. It had a relation between x and y. Over here, there is no relation between x and y. X and y both are given to you as independent variables. Okay. X is in itself an independent variable. Okay. That is how I'll get my value of f of x. So f of x has a relation with this equation given to you, but x and y in themselves have got no relation, right? Do you agree with this? So the derivative
Yes, sir.
of x with respect to y will be 0, because with respect to y, x is a constant. X has got nothing to do with y. It is a completely different variable. It has got nothing to do with y. So obviously, all the terms that have x in them will have no meaning if I differentiate them with respect to y. So now give it a try. So you can just see this thing as, just treat your x as a constant. Okay, just treat your x as a constant. So it is basically y plus c into secant of y plus c. And I am asking you to differentiate this thing with respect to y. Okay, c is again any constant. How would you do that? So you can apply product of two functions. How will you apply product of two functions? So you first differentiate the first function, keep the second as it is, plus,
Differentiation of second function
yes,
and keep it first function as it is.
yes, right? Is this correct? That's it.
Yes, sir.
So you've got secant of y plus x, okay, plus y plus x into secant of y plus x into tan of y plus x, right? Is this correct? And then you have got a minus term of x into secant x. Can you tell me what will be the derivative of x into secant x with respect to y? What is the derivative of x into secant x with respect to y?
X tan square x.
X tan square. Think
Sorry,
again.
tan, sir.
Think again. I am asking you to differentiate a function that has only x terms with respect to a variable y that has got no relation with x. See, earlier also I had told you, right, that dx by dy is 0, because with respect to y, x is a
0.
constant. So what will this be? Yes, it will be 0, because x and y have no relation between themselves. So overall, the final limit, the value of the limit I will be getting is just this thing divided by 1. Is this an indeterminate form of limit?
No, sir.
Is this an indeterminate? No. So I can just directly calculate its value. So I'll just substitute y as 0. So it will be secant x plus x secant x into tan x. This is my final answer. Fine. And now there is one more thing, if you can just go about and look into it. Do you remember the first principle of derivative? What does it tell you? It tells you that f dash x is equal to limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h
X plus
minus,
minus f of x by h.
right? Right? This is what is meant by f dash x.
Yes,
So if
sir.
you look into this thing, if you take your f of x, if you take your f of x as x into secant x, okay, x into secant x, what will be your f of x plus y? What will that be? F of x plus y? Will it be x plus y into secant of x plus y?
Yes, sir.
Right? So can I say your f dash x, if I change my variable, from H to Y. Will it be something like this? Do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Right? So what is the thing? What is the thing that it is asking you? Is this the same thing? F of x plus y minus f of x whole divided by y. This is what it was asking you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's it. I just needed to find the derivative. All I needed to find was the differentiation of x into secant x. This is what it was asking me. So I could have done that easily. So I could have got the direct answer directly, secant x plus x secant x into tan x, using the first principle of derivative. Got it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So this one was just a easy one in order to initiate, like just a basic insight of first principle. Fine. So you have got limit x tends to 1. Okay. You have got ln x divided by sine of cos of x minus 1 plus pi by 2. Can you tell me which form is this? Which form of limit is this? I want you to solve it using obviously L'Hopital's rule, chain rule. Can you just tell me which form of limit is this? What is the value of cos of pi by 2?
0,
Cos pi by
sir.
2 is 0.
Zero,
So
sir.
sine of 0 is 0. So which form is this?
0 by
0 by
0.
0 form.
0 by
So
0.
I can directly go for LH rule. Okay. Can you tell me what will be the differentiation of the numerator? What is the
1
derivative
by
of
x.
ln x?
1 by
1 by
x.
x. Great. Great. It is 1 by x. So you can see your numerator is 1, right? After differentiation, your numerator has been changed to 1, right? It has been changed to 1. So now it is no longer an indeterminate form. Can you just help me and tell me what will be the derivative of your denominator? Sine of cos of x minus 1 plus pi by 2. What will that be? So obviously you can apply chain rule, right? So can you just answer, who will tell me? So Amani, can you differentiate the denominator? Sine of cos of x minus 1 plus pi by 2. Anyone who can do it?
Sir, minus sine of x minus 1 plus pi by 2.
Minus sine of x minus 1 plus pi by 2. Okay, great. That's it.
X, x minus
That
1 by
would be
1
the
plus pi by 2.
that would be the second term. What would be the first term? See, like
First one cos of
Cos
Cos
of
of
x
cos x minus plus pi by 2, sir.
yeah, great. This is the first term, right? What about the second term? Second
minus
term? How
Minus
much?
sine of x minus 1 plus pi by 2.
Great. What about the next term? Do you have one more term left? I need to differentiate this thing, right? X minus 1 plus pi by 2. I need to differentiate that also. What will be the derivative of that thing? What is the derivative of x minus 1 plus pi by 2?
1,
1,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So this is no longer an indeterminate form. I had already watched it, right? I already know this is not an indeterminate form anymore because the numerator is not 0. The
Yes, sir.
numerator is not, so obviously the numerator is a finite value, so it will be a non indeterminate, it will be a determinate form. So I'll just substitute my values. So I will get 1 by just substituting it. So I'll get cos of pi, right? What is cos of pi? 0, right? Into minus sine pi by 2 into 1. So sine of pi by 2 is how much? Tell me. Sine of pi by 2.
1, sir.
1,
Great.
sir.
So my final answer
1
is
by
1.
1.
This I have a minus sign over here, right?
Yeah, sir.
So 1 into minus 1 into 1. So minus 1, right? Okay.
So,
Yes, Vignesh.
the cos 0 value is 1, sir.
Yes. Cos 0 is 1. Yes.
1 minus 1 into 1.
No, it is 1 multiplied by minus 1. 1
Okay,
multiplied
sir.
by sign minus sign. Right.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So a function y is equal to f of x has been given to you. Okay. And it is told that the function is continuous. Okay. And it passes through the point 3 comma 1. Okay. So 3 comma 1 it passes through. And it is asking me what will be the value of limit x tends to 3 ln of 3 f of x minus 2 divided by 2 minus 2 into 1 minus f of x. Fine. So a function is y is equal to f of x. It is continuous and it passes through the point 3 comma 1. And it is asking me what is the value of limit x tends to 3 natural log 3 f of x minus 2 by 2 into 1 minus f of x. Can you just tell me which form is this? If I substitute my value x is equal to 3, what will happen? Can I just directly substitute my value f of 3? X is equal to 3. So it will be ln of 3 f of 3 minus 2 whole divided by 2 into, tell me, what will it be? What will this thing be?
1 minus f of 3.
1 minus f of 3.
What is the value of f of 3? Value of f of 3.
Sir, is it y?
F of 3, like, will it not be a constant value? F is a function, 3 is a constant value that's been inputted in it. So f of 3, will it not be a constant value?
Yes, sir.
See, the function is passing through the point 3 comma 1. What does that mean? What does this thing mean? It means that if x is equal to 3, your y is equal to 1, right?
Yes,
So that
sir.
means f of 3 is 1. So f of 3 is 1, so it becomes ln of 1 by 2 into 0. So it is 0 by 0 form, right?
Yes, sir.
0 by 0 form, right? Okay, great. So if it is 0 by 0 form, I should go for L'Hopital's rule. Okay. Can you just tell me? Okay. So if I go for L'Hopital rule, I want you to tell me what would be the differentiation of the denominator and the numerator. So let us go for the denominator first. It is easy. So 2 times into, what will it be? Tell me, what will it be? What will be the value? What will be the derivative of 1 minus f of x?
F dash x.
Yeah, minus f dash x, right?
Minus f dash x.
Minus f dash x. Okay. Now you have got natural log of 3 times of f of x minus 2. What will be the derivative of that thing? Natural log 3 f of x minus 2. Chain rule.
1 by 3 of x
Apply.
minus 2.
1 by 3 times f of x minus 2. Great. Correct. After that, I will differentiate this thing. What is the derivative of 3 f of x minus 2?
0.
The derivative of 3 f of x minus 2 is
3,
0.
sir. 3, sir.
3.
Yeah,
Sure. The derivative
sir.
of 3 times of f of x minus 2. What
Sir,
will it be? Yes, yes.
is
3.
it 3 is a constant now, sir?
Yes, 3 is a constant. So the derivative of f of x is 0.
F dash
What is it?
X.
Yes, f dash x, right? 3 times
Yeah,
of f
sir.
dash x.
Yes, sir.
Why will it be 0? Right? So 3 times of f dash x. Right? So f dash x and f dash x got cancelled. So I am left with 3 by 3 f of x minus 2. Okay. Then I've got a minus 1 and a 2 in the denominator. Is this an indeterminate form? Limit x is tending to 3. Is this an indeterminate form?
No, sir.
No, obviously not.
No.
Because my numerator is not 0 or not infinity, so obviously it can't be. So I can just directly substitute my value x is equal to 3. Let us see what happens. So I get
By
minus
minus 2.
3 by 2 into how much? 3 f of x minus 2 is 1, right? So minus 3 by
Yes,
2
sir.
is my answer. Right? Vignesh, how did you get it as 0? Okay. Fine. So
So I thought 3 as a constant. Function is multiplied constant. That's why it become at 0, sir.
okay, okay. No issues. Great. So let us try one more. So 2 raised to sin x minus 1. Okay. Okay. Just a minute. Fine. X is tending to 0. 2 raised to sin x minus 1 divided by 1 plus x raised to half minus 1. Now let us see how we can do it. So which form is this? So 2 raised to
Indeterminate
0
form.
minus 1 by yes, yes, it is in to 0. Value of 2 raised to 0.
1,
Right.
sir.
So
0
what is
by
the
0.
indeterminate form? Yes,
0
0
by
by 0.
0 by 0.
So I should apply LH rule, right? I should go for L'Hopital's
Yes.
rule. Great. Can you just differentiate the denominator for me? What will be the derivative of the denominator? Can you tell me? You have got 1 plus x whole raised to half. 1 plus x whole raised to half. So I can take this half down into 1 plus
Yes, sir.
x raised to minus half, right?
1 by 2. Yes, sir.
Into 1,
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay,
Yes, sir.
right. Now I have got 2 raised to sin x minus 1. 2 raised to sin x minus 1. How will I differentiate 2 raised to sin x? Differentiate 2 raised to sin x. Which function is inside which function? Tell me, which function is inside which function?
Power functions.
Power function? Okay, so yeah, exponent function, right? So inside 2 raised to x, which function has been inserted?
Sin X.
Great. So if I approach from the outermost side, the first function that I meet is 2 raised to x. I differentiate it. What is the derivative of 2 raised to x? Tell me. What is the
2.
derivative of a raised to x? We have done it. A raised to x. It is a raised to x into ln of a, right?
Yes, sir.
We have done it. A is any
Yes, sir.
constant. So what is the derivative of 2 raised to x?
2 raised to x into ln of 2.
Great. What will be the first term that I write over here?
2 raised to sin x into ln of 2.
Great. I complete this level. I moved inside. I met sin x. What is the derivative of sin x?
Cos x, sir.
Cos x.
Great. So over here it comes 2 raised to sin x into ln of 2 into cos x. Is this an indeterminate form? Indeterminate form, is it?
No, sir.
No, sir.
It's not an indeterminate form, right? Not an indeterminate form. Great. So you can just substitute your value. So you get 2 raised to 0 into ln of 2 into 1 divided by half into 1. So this 2 goes up. It becomes 2 ln 2. This is my answer. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Right, everyone? Okay, great. Right. So the limit L is given to me as limit x tends to 1. Log base 3x. Okay. Log base 3x. Log base x 3. And now it is asking me the value of greatest integer of L. Okay. Greatest integer function of L. So now I want you to tell me which form is this. Now it is a little bit tricky question. Which form of limit is this thing?
1 raised to infinity.
Yes, correct. It is 1 raised to infinity. How did you get that?
Log 3 to the base 3 is 1, sir.
Log base 3. Okay, great. So log 3 and over here you have 3. So it got equal to 1, right? This thing is equal to 1, correct.
Yes,
What
sir.
about the this thing? Power log base x 3, log 3 to the base of x. What about that? How did you handle that? So this thing can be written as 1 by log base 3 of x, right? X is tending to 1. So what is this value tending to? What is logarithm of 1?
0,
Logarithm
sir.
of 1. What is that? Yes, so this tends to 1 by 0. 1 by 0 means infinity. So this thing goes to 1 raised to infinity, right? This thing is basically 1 raised to infinity. Great. So we have got it, 1 raised to infinity. So if you have got 1 raised to infinity, how do you solve a limit of 1 raised to infinity? What is the method of doing that? Tell me, how do we solve 1 raised to infinity? E raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x, right? Remember everyone? 1 raised
Yes.
to infinity form. Okay, great. So this is how you can do it. It is like a really, really simple one. You can just directly do it. So fine, if we want it, so we can do it. So e raised to f of x minus 1. So f of x minus 1 would mean log 3x base 3 minus 1 into g of x. So g of x can be written as 1 by log base 3 of x. Right. So this log of 3x can be written as log base 3 of 3 plus log base 3 of x minus 1. into 1 whole divided by log base 3 of x. What is the value of log base 3 of 3? Log 3 to the base of 3.
1, sir.
How much is
One,
that?
sir.
1, right? So 1 and 1 got cancelled. So my final answer is 1. So what is my value of L? My value of L.
E, sir.
E. Great. E raised to 1, right? E. So what will be the greatest integer function of E? What is the value of E? Anyone remembers? What is the value of E? So what will be the greatest integer function of L? Tell me, what is the greatest integer function of 2.712?
2, sir.
Where is it 2, sir?
2, right? Yes, 2. Greatest integer, right? GIF.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. One. Now we have completed our L'Hopital's rule. All the questions that were possible to do using L'Hopital's rule that we have done, because those were the only ones that were left. Fine. So let us give it a try to those related to particularly to chain rule. So f of x is equal to x plus tan x. Okay, x plus tan x, and it's been given that g of x is the inverse of f of x. Okay, so it is asking you the value of g dash x. Differentiate the inverse. So do we have a property that relates the inverse to the function that we have done a couple of times? Anyone? So we know that g of f of x. Tell me, what is the value of g of f of x? What is inverse of a function? Like if I input a function inside its inverse, what will be my value? What is my function? It is equal to x, right? F inverse of f of x. What is the value of f inverse of f of x? Is it x? So in place of f inverse, I can write g. Great. So now I differentiate both
Yes,
sides.
sir.
Right? I differentiate both sides. If I differentiate both sides, what will be my derivative of left hand side? Okay, so first right hand side. What is my derivative of left hand side? G of f of x. What is the derivative of g of f of x?
G of f dash x.
G of f dash x. Sure. Think again.
G dash of f of x, sir.
G dash of f of x. Okay, great. Multiplied by what is the next term?
F dash x.
Great, f dash x. Right? Chain rule, basic chain rule. So my value of g dash of f of x is equal to 1 by f dash x. See, the issue is that I have to give the answer in terms of okay. I want to give the answer in terms of g of x. The options have been given in terms of g of x. Fine. So can you just calculate what is the value of f dash x? What is the value of f dash x? X plus tan x. What is the derivative of x plus tan x? Anyone? X plus tan x. What is the derivative?
1 plus secant square
Sec
x.
x into
1 plus secant square x, right? X 1 plus secant
Yes.
square x. Correct. So this thing will be 1 by 1 plus secant square x. Now the issue is all the options that's been given to me, I need to give the answer only in terms of g of x. So is there a way in which we can convert from this function to this function? Yes, it is possible, right? You can see my tan x can be written as f of x minus 1, f of x minus x, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
right? So, but still, how will I get to in terms of g of x? How will I get my answer in terms of g of x? Is that possible? Think, is that possible using this method? Because over here I have got this thing inserted. Okay, so let us try one more method. Let us try one more method. So obviously this thing is correct, right? G of f of x is correct. Now let us try other way around. This thing is also true. F of f inverse of x is also x. Now I ask you to differentiate both sides. Tell me, what is the derivative of f of g of x? It is f dash of g of x into g dash x, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct,
Sir.
right?
Is equal.
Tell. So f dash of g of x is equal to 1 by g dash x, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? So again, if what should I write in place of that? Tell me. So is there a way in which I can get my answer in terms of x? Think. So if in place of x I substitute g of x over here. Okay. So this thing will become g dash of f of g of x is equal to 1 by 1 plus secant square. Okay, so I have got it already. Okay. I got the thing already. Just a minute. Fine. So can you just tell me what will be my value of f of g of x? What is my value of f of g of x?
Sir, it is X, sir.
Yes. So I have already got my value of g dash x. G dash x is 1 by 1 plus secant square of g of x. So I have got my answer in terms of g of x. And that is what it was asking me to do. The only thing that we needed to keep in mind was that first we needed to use this relation that g of f of x is x, and in the second time while substitution we needed to keep in mind that f of g of x is also x. So again I got my answer. Fine. Got it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, let us try one related to parametric substitution. So x has been given to as given as 2 cos of t minus cos of 2t. Okay, and y has been given to you as 2 sine t minus sine of 2t. So it is asking you the value of d2y by dx square.
Yes.
Okay, and the value of x is pi by 2. Let us see how we can do it. So in order to do that, the first steps are really basic. Obviously, we will go for the calculation of x dash t. Can you tell me what is the value of x dash t? The value of x dash t, the derivative of x with respect to t. So it is minus 2 sine t. Okay. What about this? Plus 2 sine of 2t,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Sine of 2t into 2. Great. What about y dash t? 2 cos t minus 2 cos of 2t, right?
2 into cos of 2t.
Correct.
Yes,
So
sir.
what will be my value of dy by dx? My value of dy by dx is y dash t divided by x dash t, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'll just write both of these in divided to each other. I will just divide both of these to each other and write them. So this can be written as 2 sine of 2t minus 2 sine t. So this 2 can be taken out as common and it can get cancelled from each of these terms. Is there any other method by which we can cancel out any common term from both of these? Does it look possible? Yes, obviously. I can apply my cos A minus cos B rule, right? Cos A minus cos B. So it becomes 2 sine A minus B minus A by 2 sine plus A by 2. What about sine A minus sine B? 2 sine A minus B by 2 into cos A plus B by 2, right? Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will just cancel out 2 sine t by 2. So I am just left with tan of 3t by 2. Fine. Tan of 3t by 2 is my value of dy by dx. For the timing, I can just assume it to be some function f of t. Now it is asking me the value of d2y by dx square. So d2y by dx square is basically what? D of dy by dx by dx. If I divide both my numerator and denominator by dt, it becomes something like this. So this thing, my numerator is basically d by dt of f of t. And my denominator, tell me what is dx by dt? Dx by dt is x dash t. Right? Can you tell me what is the derivative of f of t with respect to t? I will just copy my x dash t. So it is 2 sine 2t minus 2 sine t. Right? X dash t is as it is. Can you tell me what is the derivative of f of t? So tan of 3t by 2. What is the derivative of tan of 3t by 2 with respect to t? Can you differentiate tan of 3t by 2? Tell me what is the
6
derivative
square
of tan
3t
of
by
3?
2.
Secant square
Great.
3t by
That's it? Or some other thing is left? One more term is left. That's it. What about the derivative of 3t by 2? 3t by 2 will 3 by 2 will also come, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I will differentiate 3t by 2 also. Fine.
Yes.
So this is my value of d2y by dx square. So the value of d2y by dx square I have already got. And the value of x is given to me as pi by 2. Okay, great work. The value of x has been given to me and not the value of t. What can I do? I have got the value of x as pi by 2 and not the value of t. Tell me, what should I do? My value of x is pi by 2. Okay, oh, okay, so it was okay, so the values of t is only pi by 2. Fine. Okay, so for the time being, assume that the value of x, let us just assume that in a hypothetical case, the value of x was given to you. Okay, the value of x was given to you. What could you have done? So what you will do is you will use this equation that's been given to you and try to find out the value of t from that. But for the time being, t is only pi by 2. It is a question from this book only. Ghanshyam Tewani, this, what is the Singage, JEE Main. I hope you are solving this book. So obviously you can just directly substitute your value of t is equal to pi by 2. Okay. Your value of t is equal to pi by 2. So you will get secant square of 3 pi by 4. Okay. Into 3 by 2 by 2 sine pi minus 2 sine of pi by 2. Can you tell me what is the value of 2 sine pi? Sine pi. Value of sine of pi. 0, right?
Zero.
Yes, 0. What about secant square 3 pi by 4? Secant square 3 pi by 4. 3 pi by 4 lies over here. Right? 3 pi by 4 lies over here. What is the value of secant square 3 pi by 4? It's 2, right? Because cos of 3 pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. So inverse of that and a square also. So it will be 2. 2 into 3 by 2 by minus 2. What is the value of sine of pi by 2? Sine pi by 2 is 1. Right? So my
Yes.
final answer is minus 3 by 2. Minus 3 by 2 is my answer. Okay, fine. So a function being given to you, y is equal to e raised to 2x. Okay, this is the function. And it is asking what is the value of d2y by dx square, okay, into d2x by dy square. I hope all of you know that this is not equal to 1. All of you know what is that this thing is not equal to 1. Okay.
Yes.
See, if I ask you what is the value of dy by dx into dx by dy, so without looking at the answer or looking at the question, it is always equal to 1. But the same does not hold for double derivative. In case of double derivative, you need to be a little bit careful. So fine, let us just directly go and calculate the value. So what is the value of y dash dy by dx? What is the derivative of e raised to 2x? Derivative of e raised to 2x. E raised to 2x.
E
That's
raised to
it.
2x into 2.
Yes, into 2, right?
Yes, sir.
What about y double dash d2y by dx square? Tell me. Just differentiate this thing. What will come? 4e raised to 2x, right?
Yes, sir.
4 into e raised to 2x. That's it. Now it is asking me the other way around. Now I need to calculate dx by dy and other stuff also. How will I do that? Fine, let us have a look. Let us have a look of how we can do that. So I know the value of dy by dx. So do I already know the value of dx by dy also? It is 1 by dy by dx, right? So this value is basically 1 by 2 e raised to 2x. Do you agree? Dx by
Yes,
dy.
sir.
The value of dx by dy is half into e raised to minus 2x. This is my value of dx by dy. Now it is asking me the value of d2x by dy square. So basically I need to differentiate dx by dy with respect to dy. How can I do that? Tell me, how should I do that? So if I differentiate, if I divide both my this and this by x, so it will be something like this, right? So can I differentiate my dx by dy with respect to x? Is that possible? Tell me, is that possible?
Mm.
Can I differentiate dx by dy with respect to x? Yes, I
Sir,
can do that, right?
yes, sir.
So tell me, what will be the derivative? What will be the derivative? Half as it is, e raised to minus 2x will come as it is. What will be the next term? Minus 2,
Minus
right? Chain
minus
rule.
2.
Chain rule. So this 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So I will be left with half into e raised to minus 4x, right? Right? So my value of this thing that it is asking me, so it will be 4 into e raised to 2x into half into e raised to minus 4x. So it will basically be 2 into e raised to minus 2x. This is my value. The final answer. Is there any other method by which I can solve it? Any other method that you can think of? I guess we can do it. But for that, we would need to take the inverse. Is it possible to take the inverse of this function? How will you take the inverse? In general, how do you take inverse? Anyone remembers? How do you take inverse of a function? Relations and functions, we had taught it. Whenever you have exponent, you can take natural log on both sides. So this thing becomes, tell me, what is the natural log of e raised to 2x? Natural log of e raised to 2x.
2x log e.
2x ln e,
2x.
correct. What is the value of ln e?
1, sir.
Natural
One.
1, right? Yes, correct. Correct, 1. So my value of x in itself, can be written as ln of y by 2, right? ln of y by 2. If I ask you to differentiate this thing with respect to y, what will it be? The derivative of ln of y by 2 with respect to y. So now it is a function of y that you need to differentiate with respect to y. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Tell me the answer then. Tell me.
Sir,
Derivative of ln of y.
1 by 2.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you tell me again? What is the value? What did you say? 1 by. So it will be 1 by 2y, right? It will be 1 by 2y because differentiation of ln of y is 1 by y. So 1 by 2y. Wait, I'm not sure what you said. So now again, I want to differentiate this thing again with respect to y, right? I again want to differentiate. d2x by dy square is what basically? Okay, just a minute. So d2x by dy square, what is that basically? It is a derivative with respect to y of dx by dy. So this is what I'm asking you. d by dy of 1 by 2y. How will you differentiate 1 by 2y? So you have got 1 by into y raised to minus 1. How do you differentiate y raised to minus 1? Half into minus 1 into y raised to minus 2. Right? This is your derivative,
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay, great. Then I can just directly substitute my value. I have calculated my value of y double dash, that is d2y by dx square. I have calculated it as y 4 into e raised to 2x. And I have calculated my value of d2x by dy square. It is half into minus 1 into y raised to minus 2. Fine. So y raised to minus 2. I will again write my y raised to minus 2. So it will be 4 into e raised to 2x into half into minus 1 into y. That means 1 by y square. 1 by y square. Right? So I'll get again my final answer. 2 e raised to minus of 2x. Okay, just a minute. Okay, I guess we ignored a minus sign over there. So the final answer is in minus, right? Over here, there was a minus 2 that we ignored. We made a calculation error. So the final answer is matching minus 2 into e raised to minus of 2x, obviously. So in the first, I did it through normal chain rule. The second one, I did it through finding the inverse. Okay. So it's been given to you that t is equal to sine of x. Okay, t is equal to sine of x, and y is equal to ln of 1 minus t square. So it is asking you the value of d2y by dx square at t is equal to half. How should we do it? So obviously I will go about and calculate my value of this thing, right? I will calculate my value of y dash t. Can you tell me what is the derivative of ln of 1 minus t square? Derivative of ln of 1 minus t square. So it will be 1 by 1 minus t square into, what will be the next term? Vignesh, Gayatri, Amani. How do you differentiate ln of 1 minus t square? So it is 1 by 1 minus t square into, what will be the next term? What is the derivative of 1 minus t square? Minus
Minus 2t.
right?
T, sir.
So it becomes minus 2t by 1 minus t square, right? That is the value of y dash t. Now, how do you differentiate this thing? Like, x is not given in terms of t. T is being given in terms of x. How will you do that? How will you differentiate such a thing? Like, t is given in terms of x. If I ask you to differentiate such a thing, what will you do? So obviously, if I differentiate both sides with respect to x, so my left hand side will be dt by dx, right? What about my right hand side? What is the derivative of sin x? Cos x, right? So what will be my value of dx by dt? Can you tell me? If I have calculated my value of dt by dx, do I know my value of dx by dt?
1 by cos x.
Yeah, 1 by cos x, right? Just inverse of that. One, like just the reciprocal of that. 1 by cos x. Can I represent my cos x again in terms of t? Is that possible? Yes, because I know my value of sin
Sec x.
x. This thing can be written as 1 by, no, why do I need to do that? I can write my cos x as 1 square root of 1 minus sin square x, right? Right.
Yes, sir.
So again,
Yes,
sin square
sir.
x I already know it is t square. So this becomes 1 by square root
1
1
by
minus t square. Right? So I have got my value of x dash t. I have got my value of y dash t, and I have got my value of x dash t. Okay. So do I know the value of dy by dx now? How do I get dy by dx from y dash t and x dash t? What do I do? I just divide both of them, right? It is dy by
Yes.
dt divided by dx by dt, right? So I'll just divide both of them. So I'll get t by square root of 1 minus t square divided by 1 minus 1 minus t. Okay, just a minute. So over here we did not have a square, right? Whole by square root of 1 minus t square. So my final answer came out to be minus 2t divided by square root of 1 minus t square. Fine. This is all I have. So now I have calculated my value of dy by dx. I again assume it to be some function f of t. So in order to calculate my d2y by dx square, I need to differentiate dy by dx with respect to x. So I again divide it by dt. So my denominator is again x dash of t. What about my numerator? It is dy dt of f of t. So it is f dash t basically. Can you differentiate this thing with respect to t? Minus 2t by square root 1 minus t square. Can you differentiate it? Can you differentiate it? Right? We can apply division rule and do it. Fine. So I
Yes,
want
sir.
you to try it as a homework. Fine. It can be done using division rule, and I want you to come up with the answer tomorrow. Okay, great. So just one last question before going. So 32x cubed into y square is equal to x plus y whole raised to 5. Okay. And it is asking you the value of d2y by dx square. Okay. At point P 1, 1. So 1, 1 means x is equal to 1 and y is also equal to 1. Fine. So obviously, in order to do that, I will need to differentiate this whole thing. So differentiate this whole thing with respect to x. So the derivative of the right hand side will be y into x plus y whole raised to 4 into 1 plus dy by dx, right? Chain rule, basic chain rule. Y, treat your y as a function of x. This is an implicit function, basic implicit function. So in order to treat your implicit function, you treat your y as a function of x. This is how you do. Now about your left hand side, 32. Now you have product of two functions. So take the first function into the second as it is plus the other way around. Fine. This is what you have. Now again, like in order to calculate your d2y by dx square, you will again need to differentiate this thing. If I again need to differentiate this thing, what will I do? I will again apply product rule. So 5 into, now you need to apply product rule on this thing. So it will be 4 into x plus y whole cube into 1 plus y dash into 1 plus y dash was already there. So it will be 1 plus y dash square plus y double dash into x plus y whole raised to 4 is equal to 32 into. So fine. I want you to do both of these as important. Okay, fine. So first of all, can you just tell me, are you able to differentiate this thing with respect to x implicit functions that we have already done? Are you able to do this thing at least 32 x cube y square is equal to x plus y whole raised to 5?
Yes, sir.
Is that possible? Or any doubt in that? Okay, great. So the next step. So I just want you to come up with this thing. And from this, I want you to calculate the value of dy by dx at x is equal to 1. Okay. So that's it for today. Ma'am, can you please end the class?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Students, you can join the next link.